good evening, wherever you are. You are welcome to tonight. It's been amazing 5 weeks. It's been amazing 5 weeks. It's been amazing 5 weeks. This is our fifth week in our training, and I'm really excited to be back with you here in such a very powerful time as this. All right. So wherever you are really welcome again to the Empower to Lead training program. We've had so far a fantastic time. I hope that tonight we're going to end with the first level of this school. And I believe that so far that you have been tuning into these master classes, you have really been enjoying and really been tapping into something very significant here. Over the last couple of weeks, we have seen so many aspects of leadership. I would say that I have really touched on the foundations of leadership. Um, the first level, which I call the mandated to lead, the first topic that we have seen, let me just try and recap as we look at going forward to finalizing everything that we have said so far. So, the first topic, if you remember, we looked at 10 key characteristics of the 21st century leader. So, for those of us who are in leadership, for those of us who are looking at stepping into leadership, we have seen 10 characteristics that must be around that kind of leader. I won't have time to really go deep into it, but those of you, you have the video still there, you can recap and learn much about them. I am hoping that many of you will do that. You are welcome if you are coming up. We are recapping what we have studied over the last 4 weeks in an amazing way. I love the questions that have come, the contributions that have come so far. It's great. If you have any more questions, I want to really get your questions tonight. Tonight, I want to deal more with questions as well. As we are going up, we will see some leaders popping up and in the studios with me. They are here to really learn firsthand leadership as much as you are there from the church where I lead as well. Yes, so you'll be seeing them in the class. Please just make them feel comfortable. At the end, they will be speaking to you on what they have learned. If you have any questions, I will encourage you to get your questions and let's sit down together and study together. So, if you remember, first week we looked at 10 key characteristics, not on leadership, but what I consider 21st century leader moving into the future. We need to see this 10 characteristics which we have shared. Then I took you to the second topic under level one, mandated to lead, which is that every human being has been mandated to lead. So there we looked at around 7 to 8 things about the human being. Every person, young or old, you are mandated to lead. And I believe I shared about 8 key things there that I won't be able to go over because of time. Then we looked at the third topic where we defined what is true leadership or what is servant leadership. What is leadership? Let me put it this way. Again, we saw 10 key worldwide definitions of what leadership is. What you define yourself as a leader is so powerful. One of my favorites because you need to understand a thing to get the most out of it. Then we went to the fourth topic, which is rising up to leadership. Rising up to leadership. And there I shared with you again 10 key things about people that stops them or stop them from leading. Stop them from leading. My objective under that was to show you why people don't rise up to lead. Now, the intention is to break the things or the key things that we mentioned, 10 of them, and I opened them very deep and very wide, and I gave them to you. That was the I believe, the fourth topic under level 1, mandated to lead. Then we have seen last week in our live class, we saw how good leaders lead. How good leaders lead. Now, good leaders also pertains that bad leaders are also in leadership. And one of the very vibrant questions that have come to us over the last 5 weeks, especially when we look at the leadership in Africa, I believe that many of you in the class are African, so they ask questions that are pertaining to the culture of Africa. Why is it that the leadership in Africa are not getting these training or these revelations that I am particularly sharing with you? And we discovered that there are different styles of leadership. It's something that I covered right at the beginning. Now, the style of leadership that I'm bringing to you is the servant leadership. Now, this is the kind of leadership where we look at the source of it mainly from Jesus Christ as the servant leader. And many of the things that I've shared with you will give you results that will baffle the world as pertains the different style of leadership. So when we look into Africa, we see different styles of leadership. I don't want to go there because of time, because we've covered them. Unless you have a question, then it will take me there. But if you don't have a question, then I'm not going to go there because we have dealt with it. So we address why people, or good leaders, specifically good leaders. My focus was on good leaders to rise up to lead, to rise up to lead. And I showed you again many things about how good leaders lead. I have shared so much, I will not be able to really go back again. And as we run up our masterclass on leadership, we've also, in the course of this training, we have a 3 days youth conference, very powerful session. And if you were part of it, then you will agree with me on what we have seen and what we have learned so far. Now, what we are going to look at on topic 6 is growing in leadership. So if you pay particular attention, what I'm doing now is really going deep into leadership to really help you to understand the nitty-gritty of a leader. At this level, we are going past just the foundation of leadership. I'm actually getting you into deep dimension of leadership. So those of us who in the last 5 weeks have gathered the momentum to step up in leadership, to gather the momentum to rise up to leadership, what I'm excited about, I've been observing around the church and around the leadership group that I have, I'm seeing people really stepping up to really lead. Really, now people are beginning to step up to lead, and that is really exciting. I want to see more. Now, I want to see more. So if you have been putting some of these things into practice, you can share with us tonight what you have been putting into practice. I think that my main question tonight is, what have you learned? So if you are on there, you can use your comment section. What have you learned? And what can you share with us? What are you taking with you? Because we are running up with the first level, or with the first level of leadership in this Empower to Lead training. If we are to come again, then we will look into the second level of leadership, which is spiritual leadership, and then I'll build up from there. But I will let you know about that. But so far, what have you learned? In the course of we going through this, I want to hear from you as well. Thank you so much. Now, today we want to look into the sixth topic again, which is growing in leadership. So if somebody, a good leader, is leading, how does he grow? How does he grow? Now, I always share this. Getting old is automatic, but growing is never automatic. Getting old is automatic. It is automatic that you will get old, whether you like it or you don't like it. You are going to get old one of these days. We are all growing and we are all growing older. But as for oldness, no problem. But as to whether you grow in your field of influence, as to whether you grow as a leader, you have to decide it. You have to make a decision about it. So you are in a position of leadership. over the last 6 months? How have you grown? Or you are stepping up in leadership, especially the young ones that are in our midst that are really getting first-hand information what leadership is. As you step up in leadership, you are expected to grow. You are expected to grow, and this is more of what I am going to be sharing with you. I'm going to be sharing with you today. Growing up in leadership. Again, I will share my slides with you for understanding. I'll share my slides with you for you to make and take notes. So wherever you are, I believe that taking notes is really, really going to help you. I will make the slide much more bigger. I believe you can hear my voice, and hopefully you can still see us in the class. We will come and we will stop anytime there is a need for a question or a contribution on the comment section. I've got a very strong technical team back here that are working behind the scenes, and so we obviously look forward to that, which we are really, really excited about. Which we are really, really excited about. I want to start with a quote from Philip Brooks. Philip is one of the new generation leaders that I really like. There's got a lot of books out there that will really, really help you. So alongside it, I will share some few stuff with you as we go on. Now, there's something that Philip shared in one of his books that really, really captured my heart, and in the course of my training, I want to share it with you. You can see it on the screen. Philip says, sad will be the day for any man when he becomes contented with the thought he is thinking and the deeds he is doing. Where there is not forever beating at the doors of his soul some great desire to do something larger, which he knows he was meant and made to do. Very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. I think in a nutshell, what I agree with him is that there is more to you as a leader. There is more to you. And that if you will stay contented, if you will stay limited in your thinking and in your deeds, I don't know the area of influence that you are in, whether you are in the church or in an organization, but it will be sad for you to limit yourself. Over the weekend, I was having a conversation with a very good friend who said something to me. He said, Kofi, the way the world is going to belong to people who improve themselves. The world is going to belong to people who grow themselves. And I say, I totally and I strongly believe in what you are saying. The world is really going to belong to people who grow themselves. So it is so very important for you to grow yourself. And what Philip is saying here, it is actually very sad for you to limit your thinking. It is very sad for you to limit your capacity. So even though we have seen how good leaders lead, it is also very important for you to understand that one of the aspects of good leaders that we are talking about here, to start you off and to really empower you and to inspire you, is to understand that good leaders, they lead by growing. Good leaders, they lead by what? By growing themselves. Okay, I thought somebody was asking a question here. If nobody is asking any question here, all right, then we just keep going and moving forward. Yeah. So as a good leaders, they lead by growing, and so it's very important for you to really have a growth mindset in leadership. To have a growth mindset in leadership, there must be a great desire to do something larger beyond you, and that is what I want to see as we probably are running up. I want to see that from us as leaders. So you can probably get some more resource from here as I drive you through some of these things. I want us to look at two categories of leadership growth that I see. I want us to look at two categories of leadership growth that I really consider it very, very important. I demise this myself, and I hope that it will be a blessing to you. I consider the first group of leadership that I have seen over the years. What I can identify them with the Dead Sea type of a leader. I call them the Dead Sea type of a leader. Now, these are the type of leaders who remain stagnant in a position of leadership without improving themselves. If you remain stagnant in a position without improving yourself, you are a Dead Sea type of leader. Now, the results of a Dead Sea type of a leader is just like the Dead Sea. It is what I call stinking leadership. It is what I call stinking leadership. What I mean by stinking leadership is a leader who does not grow, a leader who does not change. And funny enough, I over the years I've seen so many leaders like that, and it is very easy for you to be in a position of not growing. How have you grown? For those of us who are with me here that have been in leadership position for a while, maybe you have been in leadership position for over the last 6 months, you have been in leadership position, maybe for the last 2 to 5 years. If you are 2 to 5 years, how have you grown as a leader? Because you have to measure growth as a leader. The moment a position is offered to you, in order not to be a positional leader, it is very, very important for you to seek growth and to expand your leadership and avoid being a Dead Sea type of a leader. And those of us who are starting our leadership careers or our leadership portfolios, it's very important for you to avoid a stinking leadership. Now, you may have seen an example as I'm speaking to you. It draws, and it is easy for you to be a stinking leader. Leader that stinks, a leader that does not move forward. Now, if you look at the Dead Sea, the Dead Sea does not allow water to come in, and the Dead Sea does not allow water to go out. Any water that does not allow nothing to come in and nothing to go out of it is a Dead Sea. Fish cannot grow in that sea. And that explains why there are some places where if you are working, you can't grow. You need to change it because it is demonstrating the characteristics of a stinking leadership, of a Dead Sea kind of leader. Now, the kind of leadership that I am really, really into is the river type of a leader. Now, the difference between the Dead Sea and the river is like I have said, the Dead Sea does not allow water to come in, and the Dead Sea does not allow water to go out. The river, on the other side, even though it may be as big, it might be the same as the Dead Sea. The river, for instance, allows water to come in and allows water to go out. And so even fish is able to grow and to expand in that kind of leadership. Now, there are those that are the river type of leaders that I'm recommending to you. They are those that are doing something daily to accommodate growth in themselves and the people they lead. There are those that are doing something daily to accommodate growth in themselves and the people that they lead. Now, the perfect example for me is Jesus is that kind of a leader. Jesus is that kind of a leader. You know, there is so much facet of leadership that if you can understand this type of leadership, it's not only that you will grow. The benefit of growing up in leadership is that you permit the people that are around you to grow. As a leader, you have to be excited. You know, some leaders don't want anybody to come close to their position. Some leaders don't want anybody to stand close to them. I heard today, was it in Gabon, that the presidency in Gabon has been ruled by one family for the last 50 years. And the people of Gabon have decided it is enough is enough. Why are they doing that? That is a leadership crisis in Gabon, Africa, right now. There's a leadership crisis in Niger right now. And if you go deep into it, you'll find out that some of these things are working within them. And so it is very, very important that as many of us on this training are about to start your leadership positions and to build your leadership portfolios and being young and old, it's very important for you to have this understanding in your head to avoid these things. Thank you, Neil. He's saying that thanks with joy, Pastor Coach, for the inspiration of your leadership course. We praise King Jesus. You have learned us to lead with humility. Humility must be the greatest attribute of leadership. So that is what Neil is saying. What have you learned? My question as you come on, what have you learned over the last 1 month? it's been almost a month now, or fully month now, fifth session that you and I are having here. If you want to encourage me to do this for free, then I have to know that what you are learning something really, really strong here. But bringing you back to what I'm talking about, you need to become a river type of a leader. If you can picture a river and see how river flows, and see how boats goes on the river, and see how people go swimming, and not just swimming, but it gives livelihood to people, then I want you to also use the same picture to see your leadership capacity in that size. It's very, very important. An effective leader in today's world will be successful only when he grows himself. It is only when you grow yourself that you can grow other leaders. So for you to be an effective leader, for you to be a relevant leader, let me put it this way, for you to be a relevant leader, for you to be a leader that is making impact. Now, if you are a pastor on there, it is very important for you to understand this. Now, I'm coming from a Christian background, and I have not failed to let you know the source of my leadership secret. The source of my leadership secret is the Bible. The source of my leadership secret is Jesus Christ. And I use this in corporate world. I train leaders across the world over the last 17 years. And I can tell you that anybody that I've trained, Christians and non-Christians alike, are marveled by some of these secrets that I'm sharing with you. Really, really strong. That's why I keep talking to you about the new generation type of leaders. And the new generation type of leaders need the certain skill and a certain style of leadership. And this is the style of leadership that I am strongly and powerfully really recommending to you as we go along. You have a free choice to go with democratic leadership, no problem. You have a free choice to go with autocratic leadership. But if you want to have influence and power, then this is the type of leadership that I want to see. A leader that is growing, a leader that is strong and moving forward. Before we move forward, my question to you, based on what I've said, based on what we have shared also in the last couple of sessions, 4 or 5 sessions so far, is what is your plan for personal growth? I want to hear from you. You are a leader, you lead yourself, you lead in the church, you lead out of the church, you are a student leader. What is your plan for personal growth? Please share with me. There are 2 points there that let me emphasize very strongly. You cannot grow until you grow yourself first. You cannot grow until you grow yourself first. If you are a pastor, hear me very well. You cannot grow. If you are a business leader, the same thing. You cannot grow unless you grow yourself first. There is so many things for you to do to grow as a leader, and I intend to share some of them with you. Number 2, without a personal growth plan, you are not ready to grow your leadership potential. So the question I'm asking you, if you have no growth plan, then you are not ready to grow your leadership potential. We can place you in a position of leadership for 6, 8 to 10 months, but probably nothing changes in that domain where you are leading. It's very, very important. It is very, very, very important. Without a personal growth plan, you are not ready to grow. So whether you are, and there is no, let me say this, there is no position like small positions. Let me come into the church, for instance. People think that it's only when you stand to deliver a sermon at the altar that makes you a leader. No, if you are an usher, you are a leader, and you can make impact. You don't need to be in a quote unquote in the face of TV for you to make impact. Wherever you are, you can be a leader. You can start with small group leadership and rise to higher dimension of leadership. Angela says that leaders are people who influence others, overcome fears and challenges, and continually build on our skills and ability to solve problems and support others to grow and develop into better leaders. That is fantastic. And this is something that we have been learning over the last 5 weeks. And Angela, if you can pick from this is just the first level of leadership. If you can pick from this and add it to your position, add it to what you are doing in the church, out of the church, in the corporate world, in the organization, you will see what is going to happen. So if you are taking notes, I believe that this is worth writing down from our sister Angela. And really, really, really is powerful. So those of you in the class, those of you in the studios, you can use the private chat area to still share. We will be able to share it to the world for everybody to learn from you. What is your plan for personal growth? What is your plan for personal growth as a leader? Is the question so far. If you know what I've shared, what is your plan for personal growth? What is your plan for personal growth? It's very, very important. What is your plan for personal growth as a leader? As you can see on there, I want to see your plan for personal growth, because without a plan for personal goals, you are not ready to grow your potential as a potential leader. For instance, your plan should include reading some books. Your plan should include, hey, can you continue? I want to see how many people that will come to me and say, can you continue these training programs for me? Because I want to grow. I want to see some people come forward and say, hey, how much will it cost me to train to become an effective leader at the highest standard? You should have a plan for personal growth. Somebody, Keze, you're welcome. He said, my personal growth plan is to be able to build and develop my self-will. That is fantastic. It leads me to another question. What then are you going to do to build your self-will? You see, it is easy to have a plan, but a plan must have an action point. A plan must have an action point. So you give it a time limit. Keze, I like what you have said, but you have to give yourself a time limit. In the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, I'll take this course. I want to see that, so that you can achieve that. This is more like a vision, but what I mean by a personal growth plan is a plan must have time limit to it. Now, what you have stated is so good, but if you are not careful, in 3 years, you are still having this. So in 6 months, tell me what you are going to do on that. A plan must also be specific. A plan must also be specific. So as much as somebody says he has a question, Blessing, if you have a question, maybe I can bring you on to ask your question. So Blessing, just come up and ask your question. Yeah, I'll pause for you to come up and have a question. Unmute yourself, show your face and have a question. Blessing, yes.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Well, pastors, good evening. I think when you started the questions and you said, what is your plan? The first thing that hit me was, what area of leadership am I looking into? What kind of a leader do I want to be? What leadership lifestyle do I plan to portray? I think having such a structured questions gives you a plan on how you want to grow. Do I want to go in the ministerial aspect? Then that means I'm looking towards building some strategic information from a leader in that area, because I believe every leader should be vast in their knowledge. So whichever aspect you decide to focus on gives rise to who is going to be mentoring you. So if you decide to come from the political aspect, I expect your leader to also have some vast information from that aspect, because that is where you tend to grow. I also think people should ask questions on who are your target audience? Who are the kind of people you plan to lead? Is it children? Is it underage? Is it women? Is it men? These questions give right to their needs. What are their problems? What are their challenges? How do I grow these people? How do I grow myself personally? How does my life portray the kind of things or the kind of leadership lifestyle I want these people to follow up, that if I'm not there, I know that, yes, I taught them right. So these questions gives rise to the kind of plans you should make, the kind of goals. Are they measurable? Are they time bound? If you say, okay, I want to be going for adolescent girls, you now know, okay, these are the needs of the adolescent girls. What are the problems they face while in school? Are you going for the ones in the nursery and in the high school, or are you going for out of school, those in the university? What are the things they face? What are the problems? What do you think they usually hear? What do they expect you to say? Because I feel when you know your target audience, you become more transparent and you don't sugarcoat things, because that is the kind of leaders we want to see. We as young people, we have access to so many informations, and how do we filter the good and the bad if our leaders are not able to be transparent enough to open up to us? So these kind of questions are what a good leader should be able to put in his book when you're trying to make your plans for yourself, so that you know that, is this something I can do? Who do I meet to get more knowledge? Do I have to be in school? Do I need to volunteer? Do I need to observe them? What is the kind of, how do they think? So you have to put yourself in that position. And again, your lifestyle has to show, because some people you'll be leading when you get into this position, they are watching you. They don't just want to hear you say it. They want to see you do it. And if you're not doing it, how are you able to convince them that, yes, what I preach is what I do? Okay. Are you just the leader that says it and don't do it? Or are you the leader that say it, do it, act it, and want to improve on it? Are you the leader that can come up to and tell something and can keep my information? Are you the leader that know my problem and is ready to look out for me? These questions give rise to the kind of leader you want to be. Thank you very much, sir.
Good. Thank you so much. Blessed. And those of us who have been, hopefully many of you have been with us for the last 5 weeks. So by now you should know the style of leadership. And again, even though there are different styles of leadership, I am strongly recommending to you that pick on the style of servant leadership, where you are there to serve the people. And many of the things that I believe that Blessing have come so far really comes into play. And hopefully that is why we have not asked this question at the first topic of our leadership class. We are asking this question after 5 weeks of leadership training. So by now, you have seen how good leaders lead. You have seen the type of leadership. You have seen so many aspects of leadership. And so even if it's in a general area, I believe that you should have a growth plan. So if you want to go into children, like she said, then your growth plan is to probably go read books in the next 6 months. And what I want your leadership plan, like I am telling Kezia, for instance, in addition to what our sister have said, is that your growth plan must be timely. Your growth plan must be specific. It's very, very important that it becomes specific. It must be realistic. Yeah, these are the areas where your growth plan should be. So I gave you an example. If you want to go into children, then you should be reading children book in the next 6 months. If you are in a position, those of you who are students, you should be able to study people who have been within the next 3 months, people who have been in that position before and have made impact, and how they did it, and what you can pick up on there as well. So these are the areas where you should build. But each and every one of us here, if I am to leave you tonight from what we have done, it's not a question you should think now, but it's a question that you should consider all the lessons that we have had over the last 5 sessions, and then use it to make that informed decision. So, Kezi, I can come back to you for you to think about it. I love what you said, but I want you to be specific in the area that you want to really grow specifically. I want you to be very specific. Now, I see many people who are joining the class right now. Please use the comment section if you have any questions. If you use the comment sections, if you have any contributions, anything that you want to share, please come on. You'll see some people in the studio. These are part of the leadership team that we are raising specifically for the university and beyond. And so when they want to speak, I'll bring them on to share what they have learned. So if you just come on, this is the question I'm asking you. I've shown you the 2 types of leaders that are in the world. And don't be a stinking leader. Don't let people regret voting for you. Don't let people regret choosing you. Don't let people regret being in your student group and beyond. It's very, very important. It's very, very important. Maybe somebody wants to share a personal experience of the 2 types of leadership that I've shared with you. Maybe you want to share something. whether you have been under a Dead Sea type of leader or you've been under a river type of leader. And you can also share it with us very, very strongly. But very strongly, let me. This is very important. We are getting to the very important area where I want to show you how a growth plan as a leader should look like. A growth plan of a leader should look like. So, to help you, I wanted to find out whether you have a growth plan. But if you don't have a growth plan, I want to share some few steps with you that probably will help you. Number one, as a leader, you need to learn to spend time alone to think and to reflect. And for many of you, the reason why perhaps you can't share your growth plan with us is because, we are living in the generation of busyness. You cannot really make impact if you are indulged in the business. And I know that being in a position of leadership means that you are going to be very, very busy. I'm a leader myself, and I can testify to this. Everything that I'm sharing with you, I come under the same crisis, the same challenges. You have to wake up, you have to get out there, students, you have to work, you have to write your dissertations, you have to submit your assignments. But it does not necessarily mean that you should not have time to develop yourself as a leader. You have to. Because if you are to be a leader in the next generation or in this generation, you must go with a mindset to make impact. You must go in a mindset. And for you to go in a mindset of making impact, hey, my number one recommendation to you, that your growth plan must include spending time alone to think. You don't spend time alone to worry. You don't spend time alone to waste time. But a leader must spend time alone to think and to reflect. You see, the highest level of spirituality in every religion on earth is meditation. Is meditation. I don't know whether you know it. Even in the corporate world, they encourage you to practice meditation. Even in the corporate world. Watch the life of every CEO or every founder of an organization. It does not matter whether he's a Christian or not a Christian. They have a form of meditation. The highest form of spirituality is meditation. Now, for me, coming from a Christian point of view and sitting in front of you and really showing you the act of leadership and the way of leadership, it does not matter. You must have a time alone to think and to reflect. How did I learn this? I learned it from Jesus. Now, in the Bible, maybe you are a Buddhist, or you can learn that. But from me as a leader, and where I get my leadership secret from, looking at Jesus, scriptures like Luke 4:42. I will not have time to open them with you, but you can open them yourself. How Jesus will go a stone throw away early in the morning to think. The best time to think is early in the morning, mostly between the hours of 3 and 6. If you are a leader that want to grow, you must have a slot on these hours that I'm sharing with you. This is the hours where ideas are sharper. Ideas come. It has been proven that ideas come when the atmosphere is settled, calm, and quiet. That is where Twitter came from. Do you know that Twitter comes from the best tweeting in the early hours of the morning? So the Elon Musk now have bought Twitter. But the idea of Twitter, it came about when a group of people who had the idea in the morning, and the tweeting sound of birds gave the name Twitter, which is a social media platform that today almost everybody on earth is on. And listening to the founders of Twitter, it was this idea in the morning where great ideas drop in the mind that come in. So your growth plan as a leader must include spending time alone. And that's why I love the Bible, because if that is what those in the world have developed Twitter, and 2,000 years ago, Jesus in Luke 4:42, in Luke 5:16, in Luke 6:12, in Luke 6:15, in Luke 9:18, and I can share a lot, had his secret was his morning meditation. You have to pause to meditate and reflect. This produces refreshment, this produces ideas, this produces new insights to projects. This is the secret. So if you love sleep too much, your leadership capacity may not have a lot of impact. Spend time alone, not to worry, but to think and to reflect on projects, to think and reflect on how you can expand, how you can become better and better at what you do. So that is the first recommendation, that your growth plan should have it. So Kezi, for instance, you showed me that I want to develop some self-will. Now, if you say that in the next 3 months, I will be waking up 3 times in the morning, and in that morning, I will read a book on that area. That is what I mean, my growth plan. My growth plan. That is an example of a growth plan. So, like our sister said, by now, with the information that I've shared with you, whether a student leader or a church leader or a banking leader or a pastor, you need to have this time when you wake up. Let me come to the spiritual people. When you wake up at this time, don't pray, don't make noise. The word meditation is to ponder on something. The word meditation is to empty yourself and to fill yourself. So for you to be a great leader, you have to have a thinking time, a thinking time, a thinking time. So important, so powerful. And if you can do it consistently, you will see. That is something that I personally do. That is something that I personally love to do. I personally love to wake up before my wife and children wake up, and sometimes go into my study room, sit down very quietly. Yes, I may pray, but I don't pray loud like I'm praying in the evening. There's nothing wrong in praying loud. I pray loud as well. But there are times I don't pray loud. There are times that I just sit down, I look at the ministry, look at my business, go and see and attend to students who have probably come back to me in the course of the day, and really give my mind the time to think on a project, to think on what we want to do next. And before you realize, people wonder, how do you do it? Because you are a pastor, you are running a business, you have books. And I'm not here to boast, but these are some of the things that I've done over the last 10 to 15 years, and I can share them with you. So as a leader, you have to have a thinking time. It's very important. Number 2, a growth plan must be intentional. I call it intentional leadership. Again, I come back to Kezi, for instance. I want to see the intentionality, not the generality. I want to see the intentionality of your leadership growth plan. And everybody here, whatever position that has been put into your hands, we have to see that intentionality in it. It doesn't matter. Here, listen to this. It doesn't matter whether you are born with the best leadership gift or not. Are leaders born or leaders made? I've answered it right at the foundation when I showed you the 3 types of gifts that comes with leadership. If you want to be a great leader, you must learn to be a great leader. I cannot emphasize it, neither can I underemphasize it. To be a great leader, you must learn to be a great leader. It's very, very, very important. To be a great leader, you must learn to be a great leader. Leadership has to be studied. Whether you are born or made, leadership has to be studied. So please, if you are not, that's why I want you to take what we are doing very, very important. I stopped doing this, if not the grace of God, because people don't really value free things. I keep saying it. I don't mind doing all the 5 levels free, but I want people to value what we are doing really very, very strongly, very, 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 very powerfully. Okay, so you must be intentional. Leadership has to be studied. Very, very important. I don't care how bright you are, you have to study leadership. You have to study leadership. You have to study leadership. Leadership has to be studied. Now, again, I go back to the Bible. This is why Jesus intentionally trained 12 core leaders in 3.5 years to change the world. Remember one of the scriptures that I love, Luke 6:40. A student is not above his teacher, but when the student is fully trained, he becomes like his teacher. A student is not above his teacher. This is biblical. But when the student is fully trained, he becomes like the teacher. You must pursue intentional leadership. You must be intentional, and intentionality must be specific, must be smart. It must be specific. It must be measurable. It must be achievable. It must be realistic, and it must be time bound. So growth plan must be SMART. SMART. For those of us who are writing, SMART. Your growth plan must be SMART. Not everything that I'm sharing on there, but let me put it on there for you. Your growth plan must be SMART. S means it must be specific. M means it must be measurable. We should be able to measure it. A means it must be achievable. So don't have a growth plan that cannot be achieved. Okay? Now again, so yeah, it must be achievable. R, it must be realistic. Many people have a lot of realistic plans and unrealistic goals. It must be realistic. And T, it must be time bound. And for me, I give you should have 3 to 6 months of a leadership plan. 3 to 6 months of a leadership plan. And then when you achieve it, then you will set more. So your leadership plan must be what? It must be SMART. Okay? So intentional leadership. Jesus had a specific, a measurable, it was for 3 years. It was achievable and he achieved it. It was realistic and it was time bound. 3 years. He picked these ones and poured into them. And so for me, one of my leadership growth was to train leaders for 5 weeks before our conference, before we push the next group of leaders in the university where our ministry is. And that's exactly what I've done. After this, I set another one. So if you are on there and you are with me right now, then please, I want to see your leadership plan growth. If you don't have it, no problem. But for the student leaders, the next level of students leaders, Ayo, Joseph, Blessing, all of you, I want to see your growth plan, your vision, your plan in the next 6 months when I meet you after this training program. This is what we are doing. This is what we are going to do. This is what we need. I want to see it. Really, really, really important. Rhoda says that your growth plan must be SMART. Thank you so much. And I think that we have shared the SMART on there. It must be SMART. And I always say it must be present, not in the past. It must be present. So you are leading in choir, Bible studies, personal. Pick these things and make it personal. You will see the plan as well. Number 3, invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. And I don't mince words. What do I mean by that? Buy and read books. Buy and read books. When was the last time you read a book? What book are you reading currently? And again, like the young lady said, if you want to go into children ministry, you want to go into banking, you should be reading books in that area. And that's what I keep telling students. If the area you are reading really is not going to contribute to any level of importance in your life, then, to tell the truth, permit me to say, quote unquote, let me not put it that you are wasting time, because you can probably pick some information from there, but you should have that. Again, what I will say to students is, some of you only read when you are getting certificate out of it. That's a mistake. Your leadership plan should not just be, I want to get a certificate to enrich my CV. Read books even if it does not give you a certificate, but those books are part of your SMART principle that I just shared with you. That will make you a good leader. There are a lot of great leadership resources alongside that you can really learn, read, and do that. So don't leave your mind to chance. If you are already in a leadership position, you should read books. This year, I finished writing 2 books. And let me not sound so spiritual, but let me put it this way. I said to myself, for 1 year, I'm not going to write. For 1 year, as part of my growth plan, I'm going to read books. So what I've done is bought a book, and I'm reading from January till now. I have read about 12, 15 books. And I've learned how to do speed reading, where I read books very fast, very quick. I took a course for speed reading. And then I summarize. I not just read a book, but I read a book, summarize the things I've learned, and put them in the notebook that I have bought. I have it in my house. That is my growth plan for the next 1 year. I'm not writing any book, and after that, then I go back to writing. Can you imagine if I go back to writing, the level of ideas, the level of insight, the level of fresh mindset that I will have in writing books that will bless the world? This is what I am talking to you about, not me, but you. So whether you are a pastoral leader, you should be reading books about in those areas. You should be doing that specifically. Invest in yourself. Every day you must read. Your growth plans will include that. Let me help you. Number 2, you must think actively. You must think actively, not think passively. You must think win. You must think win. I hope that somebody is taking some notes here. Maybe your organization has been stagnant. This is going to help you to push it forward. You may be in a leadership position, leading an organization, leading a charity, leading a church, leading a group, and it has been stagnant. The reason why it has been stagnant is because of this. You are becoming like a Dead Sea kind of a leader. And Dead Sea kind of leaders get old, but they don't grow. You must think actively. You must pray consistently. So permit me to say it. It does not matter where you are coming from. You must pray consistently. Prayer is good for your health, as your mental health, even as a leader. Pray constantly, consistently, constantly. File to preserve what you learn. So for instance, I shared with you, when I'm reading a book now, if I don't have my note here, I would have shown you firsthand. When I read a book, that's why I don't borrow books, because when you pick my book, you see me underline them. I underline, I mark, and then I transfer, not everything, but the things that pertains to what will make me a good leader into my notebook, so that even if I don't get that book again, I actually have the things I've learned. And when I'm writing a book, it gives me new ideas. It gives me the opportunity to quote, how do you think I'm doing what I'm doing over the last 17 years? Okay? Kezia says, read books even if it doesn't give you certificate, because no knowledge is wasted or lost. Fantastic. In one way or the other, we get to apply those knowledge in life. Fantastic. That's the truth. This generation of young people don't read anything aside what they should do to get a degree or a certificate. Check it. Current statistics shows that out of 100% of students that graduate, 90% of students don't read anything other than sports for men, and fashion for women, magazines. When students pick a graphic paper or a newspaper, if they are boys or men, they 90% of the time read only the sports. If it is women, they read only the fashion aspect. They don't read anything outside their educational curriculum. And as a matter of fact, they only read to finish a coursework. That is the current research there. Only 10% of people read beyond their academic pursuit. Now hear me. Of the 10% that read beyond their academic pursuit, it has been discovered from a research of 20 years that 90% move forward to fulfill something out of what they have learned beyond just academic pursuit. If this research is true, then what I'm sharing with you is very important. Don't just read for certificate, read for life. Don't just read for certificate, read for life. I don't know whether you know this, but 45% of billionaires in the world today don't have a first degree. Over 45% of billionaires in the world today don't have a first degree. Billionaires, they don't have a first degree. What makes the difference? I believe that if you go into their mind, they are readers. I've worked with leaders that are Fortune 500 trainers. And to tell the truth, when they showed me their library, when Mount Morrow showed me his library, my heart was like something. When John Maxwell in one of our trainings showed his library, no wonder. He showed, I don't want to go in there, but maybe somebody is on here, you pick these things on. It will move your leadership from stagnant, because you need fresh information to really become a better leader. Every year, I must become a better leader than before. I am that kind of person that when I finish preaching, I watch it again. The probability that in between now and next week, I will watch this again is high. And when I'm watching, what do? I watch it like you are watching it. I don't watch it like me watching it. And when I'm watching the areas where I could have spoken better, the areas where I could have shown a much more better attitude, the areas where I could have given a better example. I watch to learn. Is so important. There's a scripture I want to share with you in Proverbs 18:15. Proverbs 18:15. I want to share with you. Listen to that in the Message Translation version. He says, "The heart of the prudent or the heart of the wise acquire knowledge. The wise desire more wisdom and know how to get it." The wise man, the wise woman desires more wisdom and know how to get it. This is the kind of leader that you should aim to be. So you are here, you feel like your leadership capacity have hit a wall. It may be because you are not learning or reading. You must be a learner. File to preserve what you learn. So the four things that I want to leave with you, it should be part of your leadership capacity. It should be part of it. And I hope that you will pick something up from here tonight. Okay? I want us to go on a short break. We will come back and continue. I want to give you 3 minutes of a break, and when we come back, we'll continue. Maybe you want to drink water. Maybe you want to just reflect on what you and I are sharing. When we come back, we will continue. See you after the break. Don't go anywhere. Leave the dial. If you are here, still stay here, but just go grab a drink and unwind yourself, stretch yourself, and come back here. And I have some few stuff to share with you. Come with questions as well. See you in 3 minutes. Welcome back. Welcome back. I hope that you have been able to refresh yourself just a little bit, and we can continue and wrap up and finish. If you have any questions, you can bring it back. But so far, what we have been studying is so important. Everything that has life grows, and as long as the right things, the right ingredients are put on, whether it's a seed, anything, whether it's a business, whether it is a church, anything, it grows automatically as long as the right thing is done. And this is the bone of contention of our study tonight. We're looking at having a growth plan. We're looking at the ingredients of a growth plan. We're looking at seeing something grow in your hands. And each and every one of us, whatever position that has been given to you will be given to you. Whatever business you are building, It will not grow automatically. It will get old automatically, but it will not grow automatically. For it to grow, you must have a mindset. And so far, we have said that you must be able to spend time alone to think. I've said deep into it, you must be intentional about your leadership capacity. This is the practical, it's not the theory, it's not just define leadership. You must be intentional. I want to grow. I want to grow. My growth must be smart. You must invest in yourself. You must invest in yourself. I have to invest into books on leadership. I have to take leadership courses. I've taken many leadership courses. Even though I've written a lot of books on purpose, I just last year I did a whole year training on purpose from the University of California. You have to do it. You have to invest in yourself. People who are wise go for knowledge, they seek knowledge. So don't just establish an organization and expect the organization to grow. And growth is not magic. Growth is not magic. Growth is intentional. You have to invest in yourself. Read daily, like I've said with you. Think actively, pray constantly, file to preserve what you learn. Then number 4, learn from people ahead of you. Learn from people ahead of you. So let me take you back to what the young lady said. If you want to be a lecturer, you have to learn from people who are ahead of you. If you want to be a pastor, you have to learn from people who are ahead of you. If you want to be a good business leader, owner, you have to learn from people who are ahead of you. King Solomon says something, there is nothing new under the sun. There is nothing absolutely new under the sun. If I want my ministry to grow, the secret of it, somebody has done it. If I can humble myself and learn it, it will help me to become that person. So whatever area of leadership that you really want to make impact, you must learn from people who are ahead of you. The secret is first learning from others, and secondly, you add your personal discovery to it. That is one of the greatest secrets that I can share with you. Learn from people who are ahead of you. Who are you learning from in the area, in the domain that you want to lead? Who are you learning from? And I want the class, I keep saying over the last 5 weeks, you are very lucky that we are online, and some of you can even put on there and just go and do what you want to do. And that's why I really like the face-to-face class, because these are questions I want to have. I want to hear from you, because I am here as part of my growth plan to see you grow. I don't want people around me not to grow. I'm not that type of leader. I want people who are around me to even become better than me, because I have a river kind mindset of leadership. Really. So strategically, I do some things that many people may not know, may not understand, but I know why I'm doing it. So I hope that you don't take this for granted. I hope that you take it serious. For those of us who are really taking notes, please take notes. And as you begin to do these things, what you begin to observe is that things begin to change in your leadership, because it's like a river. You allow others to, you allow information, you allow water, you allow fresh ideas to come in and to go out, and you allow people to come in and have their impact and influence in a guided area, and you begin to see that business, that organization begin to thrive, begin to grow as well. You begin to solicit information, ideas, read, and all these things that I have shared with you. And it's very powerful. Number 5, create a growth environment for growth. It seems like tautology, but it is not tautology. For you to grow, you must create a growth environment around you. You must create a growth of environment around you, and that's something that I learned about Jesus and his organization 2,000 years ago. You know, Jesus learned himself, and and he learned how to grow leaders. How would you say about a man who will go away for 5 6 hours in the morning, sometimes in the night, and quietly he just reflect things and know where he's going, what he should be doing, and what he's doing next. He, by so doing, he created a growth environment around the 12. You realize from his organization that many times when he has gone on a day's assignment, when he comes back, what does he do? He sits down and let them ask questions, and then he showed them. And remember the parable of the sower. Jesus now said, "What this is what that means." And with the parable of the sower, he began to teach them what it means to sow and to reap, and what it means to seek knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. That is why we have hurdles in organizations. What is it? We create an environment. Leaders must create environment to grow, and with that same environment of growth, they must create an environment for others to grow, especially if your position of leadership is to help people. From time to time, I sit down with the team around me, be it in church, I do it, be it also in business. And what do? And we begin to look at the last 6 months. We begin to look at the trends. We begin to look at the sales we have made, whether we begin to look at where we are falling short, and we create a growth environment. It's very, very important to create a growth environment. So the 12 disciples around Jesus for 3.5 years had learned the art of leadership. And when it came for the time for them to lead, they led. Growth is not automatic. Please get it. Growth or getting old is automatic, but growth is not automatic. And I want somebody to write it down and take it home, put it in the comment section. Getting old is automatic, but growth is not automatic. And even though that all of us are getting old, I don't know whether I can say that all of us are growing. And I want to say that because over the last 5 sessions, if you really have taken notes, if you really have practically really absorbed many of the things that we are sharing here, then I have no doubt. So just like I'm doing, I'm creating a growth environment for others to grow. And in your own small or big way, no matter how you say it, you also need to create a growth environment for others to grow. John Maxwell, one of the great leaders to learn from. And if you have not read any of John Maxwell's books, please go get them. John shared something about a growth environment. 10 things, this is very important, 10 things that you must look out for if you want to grow as a leader. If you are a pastor, if you are a leader in any field, I strongly recommend these 10 things that I'm about to share with you, very, very, very serious. It's very, very important. Yes, Susan. Thank you, Susan. Susan said, and I want you to write it in your comment section. Thank you, Susan. Susan said, getting old is automatic, but growth is not automatic. It is intentional. If this is the only thing you can learn and pick with you today, to tell the truth, it will inspire you to begin to do something to allow fresh ideas to come into your business. Many businesses have stayed. Many churches have still not growing as a leader. God have mercy. I don't want to say some things. But those of you who are watching, I want you to state what Susan and also said. The reason why sometimes I let you do this is so that you are active, so that, once you have written it down, it stays in your mind. Because some of these things must stay in your mind. And permit me to say, I don't care where you are leading. If getting old is automatic, but growth is not automatic. it is intentional. Very, very, very important. So you can grow in the next, you can get old in the next 6 months in that position we have given to you as a student leader. But it doesn't mean that you have grown. You have grown. So let me share with you what John Maxwell says. 10 things that must be in that environment. Now listen to me. If you are in an organization, if you are, permit even me to say, if you are in a church that you don't see these 10 things there, leave. Unless you are not serious enough to grow. This is the kind of environment I want to create around my organization. This is the kind of organization, this is the kind of environment I want to create. You come to my restaurant business, God have mercy. I give you 3 to 6 months. I will call you and sit you down. You won't believe it. We specialize in African food. And one of the areas that I was so proud was to have two Eastern European young ones that we trained them to prepare the African dishes. And some of the Africans here will know jollof, pounded yam and egusi, eba, pounded yam. We trained them. As a matter of fact, when you come to my restaurant and you see these young ladies who are Eastern European descent, stay with us for about 6 months, and when they are speaking to you on the phone, you will not even notice that you are speaking to an Eastern European person. How did that happen? How did that happen? It happened because of what? A growth environment. Thank you, Angela. Getting old is automatic. Growth is not automatic. It is intentional. You can correct it. You see the reason I want you to state it. The statement is getting old is automatic, but growth is not automatic. Growth is intentional. I want you to state it like that. Getting old is automatic, but growth is not. Growth is intentional. Growth is intentional, so that you don't make a mistake. To tell the truth, I love this. To create a growth plan, a growth environment. If you're a pastor, there must be a growth environment around the church. Number one, a growth environment is where others are ahead of you. I've shared it. A growth environment is where others are ahead of you. And the power of it is that it always also wants you to be better. If in your friend circle, if you come into my leadership circle, if in your friend circle, I discover that, you are the only brilliant person there, I will encourage you to find a new level of friends. If in your academic pursuit, you are always first in class and you think you are the best, you are not the best. It simply means that others are not pushing. Go to another school where they are doing well and become better at it. So a growth environment is where others are ahead of you, where there must be healthy competition. That's what it means. Healthy competition. Thank you, Angela, for correcting it, and I love that about you. Getting old is automatic, but growth is not. Growth is intentional. And if you are on the, if you are the students leadership, please, I want you to state it. Don't come in, leave your video and be in kitchen, eating and no. Be intentional. Be intentional. Just 1 hour, 30 minutes. I'm just about 5 minutes with you and I'm finishing. But I want you to get the best out of this training program. Others are ahead of you. A growth environment, 10 characteristics around a growth environment. A growth environment is where others are ahead of you so you can learn. A growth environment is where you are continually challenged. You are in an organization, you must be continually challenged. 3, your focus is forward, not backwards. That's a growth environment. The focus, the focus is forward. The organization you are in is not always repeating past mistakes, but they have a forward thinking, a forward mindset. Stay in there because it will help you to grow. Your growth plan must be forward thinking, not backwards. Your focus is always forward. 4, the atmosphere is always affirming, or at least the atmosphere is affirming. It's not a place. Some of you work in places when you come, you are drained. Leave that place. Leave that place. You will not grow. Leave. I don't want to say leave that church, but the atmosphere must be affirming. You must be inspired anytime you come from the church. Let me be positive here. Number 5, you are often out of your comfort zone. In other words, you are not. There is an environment that pushes you to be more, to become bigger, better, greater, to grow. That is out of your comfort zone. And because many of us like to sit in a position of comfortability, but a growth environment asks more. Places, go places, connect with places. Your plan should have this. Number 6, failure is not your enemy. Failure is not your enemy. A growth environment is where when I fail forward. A growth environment is where when I fail forward. It's not where I fail, I sit down. But there are people around me that pushes me forward. I make friends in that area. Have that growth plan. Others are growing. And because others are growing, it inspires you to grow. That is a growth environment. 9, people desire change. It's not where people are too comfortable. People desire change. I want to build a ministry. I want to build a business. When I'm employing people, I want people who desire change. This is it. People desire change. 10, maybe it's not there, but I can write it down. Growth is modeled and expected. Growth is modeled and expected. So if you are wondering why I'm a pastor, but I'm doing leadership training, is because I am modeling growth and I'm expecting growth. I don't want the kind of church when we come, we just sing and go. No, I want one we come, we sing and go, but whilst we are going, all these 10 things that I'm sharing with you about a growth plan is found there. And your growth plan should have this. You must create a growth environment, be it around, you can take this model around your home, around your church, around your business, or any kind of organization. The final one. Develop the 5 C's of credibility as a leader. This is the last one I'm going to share, and I'm ending it because my time is up. Develop the 5 C's of credibility as a leader. Very powerful stuff I put down here for you. In other words, a leader's growth must include his character. When I talk of character, I talk of your honesty, your trustworthiness, and your integrity. I will open it more deeper when we come to the quest of leadership. But at this level, I want to push you slowly. Your character as a leader. Your character, the 5 C's of credibility as a leader. The first C is character. Your honesty, your trustworthiness, and your integrity. Your second C is care as a leader. Your concern to serve others, not vice versa. This is servant leadership at its highest core. This is not autocratic or even democratic leadership. And if a democratic leader wants to serve, this is it. If a leader who has seized power politically wants to serve, this is it. For me, this is the highest level of leadership because the one that I've used it has the most successful organization on earth called the church. The third C is composure. ability to handle and cope gracefully with pressure. Composure. You must develop yourself as a leader. You must compose. A leader must not lose himself, must deal with his anger. A good leader, a growing leader, a matured leader must not lose his composure, especially under pressure. And like I said, I'll go deep because leadership has a lot of facets within it. C, the fourth C is courage. Willingness to stand for what you believe. Joshua 1:6-9. Before Joshua started his leadership career or his leadership assignment, remember, those of you who want to go in the scripture, you find it. About 6 times God used the word courage, courage, courage. And I'm saying this for those of us who are, trying to step up beyond their fears, their concerns. You must begin to build courage. Your growth plan must make you courageous. In other words, make you the willingness to stand for what you believe. And the last C is competence. Learn, learn, learn. Both technically, both interpersonally, both spiritually. Learn, learn, learn. I cannot understate the word learn. The word learn is the root word disciple, which the word discipline comes from. In other words, for you to learn, you must be a disciplined person, and with it, you become a disciple in the area of your learning. Wonderful people. This is where I finish because of time. I have enjoyed the last 5 weeks with you, where to me, we have seen the foundation of true servant leadership. And I am fully persuaded that everything that we have learned together has the capacity to help you to step into leadership, to help you to begin to scale into leadership. I agree that there is more to learn, and I believe that this is just level 1. I hope along the way, for those of you who seek to study more into leadership, you can get in touch with me. I'm not sure that the rest of it, I'm going to do it for free for you. But if you are really ready to go on a journey with me to learn the kind of leadership that guarantees 100% results, then you are more than welcome to join me on the Empower to Lead training program. If you are really interested, you can get in touch with me through the comment section, whether you are on YouTube, on Facebook, anywhere you are, you can get in touch with me. I'll send you a link to register, and then we continue from there. In the next 40 years, my assignment is to help people discover their purpose in life, and also to raise leaders and kingdom financiers in these last days. This is becoming a clear mental picture that I see. And so I look forward, and I want people who are serious. I want people who are ready and willing. But as and when we go along, if you have not liked the page, please like the page on YouTube. There is a lot of materials there, free resources, that if you are serious enough, you are going to have it. It's there. But if you really, really want to rise, then come close with me, and I'm going to offer that mentorship to help you to really become the kind of leader, whether in the area of business, whether in the area of church, and beyond. Really, I'm here, and myself and the organization, the Empower to Lead, the Purpose Achieving Life Group, will help you to do that. If you want to come to the church, you are more than welcome to be part of a growth environment where others are growing. Everything that we have shared is here. Joseph, I can see only you left here in the class. If you can come, if you can come live on your, we want to see your face and share with us what you have learned. I just have about 3 minutes left. If you have any question, those of us who are joining us, please ask using the comment section. If you have any contribution, if you want to share with us what you have learned that you are taking home, please use the comment section to share it. If Joseph, you can hear me, unmute yourself and put on your video so we can see you, and then we can pick it up from there. Okay, so if you are somewhere there, please let me know. We have few minutes to go. If you have any question, any contribution, very quickly. Yeah. Joseph, if you can hear me, Ayo, your feed is, may need to reset it. Come back to us. Anybody? Anybody? Give you a few minutes. Those of us who are writing the comment, you can. And then we will be out of it. All right. Okay. Wow, it's been a wonderful 5 weeks, and this is where we are bringing the curtains to a close. This is where we are bringing our leadership training to a close. Again, like I said, my name is Kofi Amwatin. I'm the lead facilitator of the Power to Lead training program. You want to go to level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, please get in touch with me on the comment section. Send me an email and I'll get back to you and, release the training to you, get you a link to register, and then you can continue to develop your capacity. You want to build a business, you don't know where to start from, you don't know what type of business you go into, you have an idea, I can take you from the basics and see your organization set up and running as well. So if you are on there, you can also get in touch. You want to find your purpose in life. You want to develop a vision for life. I have a whole training program separately from this for you. You have to discover yourself first. I can do that and I can help you to become that like that as well. You are a group, you are an organization. You want to train your people to get more results. Please, we can do that. My little girl Christine says, growing up on leadership. Christine, what have you learned so far? You can type it in and we also learn and we also pick it up from there as well. So I'm only waiting for some questions and some contributions. And again, if Joseph, you are on there, we want to see you to give us a summary of what you have learned today or the last 5 weeks. If not, then I have my time here is done and I will be leaving you very soon. So I'm still waiting. The technical team will let me know whether there is any contribution or anything on there, and we will pick it up. Especially what you have learned, what you are taking home with you. I hope that it has been a blessed 5 weeks and a very empowering and inspirational 5 weeks of training. All right. Yes, the young lady says that you must have a growth plan. And so the next thing is, what is your growth plan for the next 4 months? I said 12-year-old going to 13 years. What is your growth plan? I would like to see it. Yeah. Susan, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the training. I joined the middle on week 4. I found your training really helpful and insightful. Thank you so much, Susan. Susan, I think that if you're on YouTube, you can like our page, number 1. I think that you can really get all the last couple of weeks. We have 5. Today is the 5th session. So session 1, session 2, session 3, session 4, session 5. If you put them together, you really, really, really maximize that as well. Sunny Sector says, Sunny, that is a very big one. We want to see what you have learned as well. I believe that means that really something has given you a thought to process on, but maybe you can share specifically what you are picking, whether you just join us today or over the last 5 weeks. I want to thank you all for the registration. We have seen almost about 200 people registered and floating through the course of the program. That is amazing, and I'm really excited about that. As I see the desire and the encouragement and the people hungry for more, then I don't mind coming up again and again with these materials. We will see how we will come over and over again. But for those who really want to really step up and take their leadership to the next level, next dimension, then what I said earlier is very important. Get in touch with me, with your youth growth, with your church growth, and you want to see growth, you want to see people empowered, inspired, get in touch with me. We can arrange, and then I will get you wherever you are. Most of our programs can be seen like this, live online. I have a coaching school and all that are ready wherever. It does not matter. The only thing that you may have to pay a little fee on top of it, and I do that for you to value what you are getting as well. So based on experience. So Christine says one of her plans is to succeed in school. She's a year 8 student now. She wants to succeed in school. Christine, again, that is very big. Remember what I said, it must be smart, it must be specific, it must be measurable, it must be realistic, and it must be time bound. So succeeding in school, what will succeeding in school look like? This is coaching. What is succeeding in school look like? Getting A or getting B, to somebody getting a C, or somebody advancing in school is somebody excellent, is what it means to succeed in school. So you've got to write it in a smart way, specifically measured, realistic, achievable, and time bound, and then I can address it for you. So this is too big. Okay, yes. So Sunny, Susan, Christy, Angela, all of you, thank you. Kezi, everybody, and Neil, thank you everyone for being part of the class. And I think my time is gone, and so we are leaving, and hopefully we get back to you again. I will always say shalom, peace, and new joy to you. Thank you.